I would like to introduce all of you to my new imaginary friends. Now, these are real people, but sadly, it is our friendship that is imaginary. Ever since their song, The Water Bottle, resonated so deeply within the depths of my soul as a parent of 4 kids who keep losing their stuff, and as a husband who is always losing his stuff. And then watching them on The Amazing Race, and now reading Everybody Fights by Kim and Penn Holderness, these are my new imaginary best friends. My wife can attest that as we're sitting down to watch The Amazing Race, I'll now begin to share with her special stories that Kim, Penn, and I share together, like, Jen, did you know that Penn saw Kim over a year before she even realized that he existed? If you're married and you need a new set of friends who will share with you in all the ups and downs of marriage and parenting, Everybody Fights, so why not get better at it, by Kim and Penn Holderness may just be the book for you. The great thing about Everybody Fights, and the reason it stands apart from all the other marriage books out there, at least the ones that I have read, is that the other marriage books are by the experts. They're by the PhDs, the professional counselors, the pastoral counselors. Kim and Penn, on the other hand, they are not the experts. They're going to be your friends who are going to sit down next to you, and they will be willing to air out all of their past mistakes and struggles so you will know that you are not alone in the process of taking 2 sinful people and bringing them together in order to have a united marriage that reflects the union of Christ and his church. In this book, they're going to walk you through 10 problem areas from their own marriage, from the sharing of household responsibilities to failures to communicate to financial divisions and issues in the bedroom. This book is really all about communication. But since our communication styles vary so much depending upon the problem, we won't shut up when we're trying to prove that we're the one who are right and they are the ones who are wrong. And also, we won't talk at all when we're the one who just purchased something stupid on a whim that will end up torpedoing this month or this year's budget to our shame. Penn and Kim cover all of those times when we talk too little or we talk too much, or when we become so familiar with the person that we are married to that we end up treating strangers better than we treat our own spouse, the person we love the most and the one that we wanted to commit to spend the rest of our lives with. One thing that really stood out for me is how, in spite of the vast differences we all have, from person to person, from marriage to marriage, in reality, we share so many common struggles in this process of bringing 2 people as one. Here's one stupid illustration from the book that I really connected with. Penn was writing about how he coped with his struggles to fall asleep when he wanted to do something in the bedroom that didn't have to do with sleeping. And Penn wrote the following: instead of reaching over, I'd ask myself, how many Atlanta Braves can you name? Can you name 100? I'd start naming them: Ozzie Albies, Johan Camargo, Ender Inciarte, until I fell asleep. For the record, I could get to 85. There was a time when I would do the same exact thing when my wife and I had little ones. I would name as many New York Yankees as I could think of, and typically, since, Yankees franchise, a little bit better than the Braves franchise, I could almost always get over 100. And while that might sound dumb to you, something you would never do, but it's these little details scattered all throughout the book that allows you to connect with the Holdernesses. It allows their stories to be so engaging, and throughout this book, there will be times again and again where you will say, hey, we do the same thing too. I talk over my wife when she's trying to share her dreams with me, and I discount them when I found them to be unrealistic. My wife does complete so much of the work at home that it makes me look pathetic in comparison to her. I totally get where they are coming from throughout this entire book, and the advice from Pastor Christopher, from their pastor that they share in each chapter, is always very practical and very helpful on how to walk through these common marriage struggles. I'm not saying that Everybody Fights is going to revolutionize your marriage, but I do think what this book can do is help in multiple areas to bring more joy where you're currently dragging a little bit or maybe even dreading your marriage in a specific area. And I think a lot of us, we don't need a complete overhaul of our marriages. We just need those little tune-ups. We need those friends who can come alongside us and give us those pointers to have small improvements to fix up those places in our marriage that have been worn down by day after day after day friction of life. It was kind of refreshing to read a book not from the perspective of the counselor who's sitting across the room from you, but from the perspective of two friends who are just going to sit down next to you and be willing to share all of their embarrassing moments when you're not willing to share all of yours. So if you're looking for just a little bit more happiness and understanding in your marriage, if you want to hear from a friend, share their successes, their failures, their struggles, and improvements, you should read Everybody Fights by Kim and Penn Holderness. And if you've enjoyed this review and you want to stay engaged in the world of Christian literature, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the Rev Reads YouTube channel.